Hello, friends. Welcome back to the Nope Coach podcast. I'm your host, Suzanne Kohlberg. Could you do 7 days with no phone? This is episode 362, welcoming back Anna Hastie. You've just recently done a silent retreat in Bali, and you said something about, just tell the story about what happens with the phone.
Yeah, so just a quick nutshell, I decided I would needed to go on a retreat to Bali. Usually when you think of a retreat, you think yoga, great food, sitting by the pool, maybe some journaling, you learn something,
Massage.
right? Yeah, massage. Me, I was like, nah, I don't want to speak to anybody. I don't want to know anybody. I don't want to share my story. I don't want to make any friends. I want to be in silence. I don't want to like talk for 7 days. Give me silence. I literally Googled Bali Silent Retreat and it came up. I mean, that's the best SEO for a business name, right?
Oh my
And
gosh.
booked in, was like, yep, I'm going to Bali and I'm not going to speak to anybody. And this is going to be freaking amazing. The one thing that was I knew from the start that they strongly advise no technology, no devices. If you do need to use your phone, have your laptop or whatever, there's a certain area near reception where you can use it, but otherwise everywhere else is technology free. But when you arrive, they take you on a tour, a little tour of the place so you know where all the facilities are, your room, how everything works, where the 3 clocks are in the whole entire place, which
I've got to
this is
interrupt. I've
the
got a
thing.
question. Sorry.
Yeah,
When they take you
yeah,
on the
go for
tour,
it.
I assume they're talking there and they're not just
Yes.
miming like
No,
toilets,
like sign
shower.
language. Yeah, no. It is, they do talk, but you sort of already feel, because you walk through these flags down the driveway and they're like, this is from where silence is observed. And you're like, oh, okay, all right. We're silent like right now. Like I didn't get like, a 5-minute warning that it's happening now. So it's the same with my phone. It was like the first part was to take you to the lodge, and in the reception kind of bottom ground floor of the lodge, there's a bank of lockers and there's a sign that says hand phone hotel. And my guide, it was like literally said, this is your locker. Here is your key. So you get to keep the key and you can access this whenever you want. It's not like it's done, if you need to use your phone, whatever. And he goes, and he's kind of like indicating me like, you do this now. And I'm like, what, like right now, right now? Like right now, right now? Like in my mind, I'm like, I thought again, I got a 5-minute warning. I'm not ready to turn my phone off. Now I have to say, I'm happy to put my phone down. I actually run a business where my phone is on silent. I don't even know what the ringtone is. I've never known what my phone sounds like. It doesn't ping at me. Thank God, no notifications. But at the same time, it was like, this is my world. And how am I going to find out what's happening to my husband or my daughter, who's 18 months? And I have to put the phone in there now. And the locker was quite big, right? It was probably, maybe a little bit like a sort of a square gym size kind of locker. It wasn't
Well, the
like,
phone
a
needs to be
teeny
comfortable
tiny
for its
thing.
week holiday. It
Oh,
needs
and I was just like,
spaciousness.
we're just like, now? And so I was like, okay. And he kind of looked at me as if to say, yes, now. And I'm like, I felt like I was being kind of like, the school teacher going, turn your phone off now. So I was like, turn the phone off and then see you, bye. Put it upside down and shut the door. And then you're like, oh, that's so sad. It's in there by itself. Like, I almost felt like saying, but I didn't charge it up to full either. It's only on 50%. But that was it. Turn it off and it went in there. And you're like, okay, we're done. No more
That's
phone. You're
intense.
right.
That's intense.
And the thing is, like, my phone is my clock. Like, I don't have fancy watches. I don't have a watch. I obviously use like, the clock on
Your
the
laptop
computer,
or
a clock on
computer,
a
yeah.
wall, clock in the car, and my phone to know what the time is, right? So in the whole entire area, the whole entire retreat space, there is only 3 clocks. Two in the lodge, so one on the ground floor and the upper floor. So the ground floor is kind of where there's like you get your food. They have an amazing buffet of food every day. Side note, you'll never go hungry. You don't certainly eat a lettuce leaf or a cup of broth. It's like beautiful food that I actually had to time myself every day to go in the last half hour that the buffet was available, so that by the time I finished the food, they'd cleared it and I could not go back for seconds
That's very clever. Great
because
tip.
I was eating a lot.
Well, the thing is, when you think about it, I imagine I'd eat more too. It's kind of like
Yeah.
when it's school holidays at the time we're recording this, my
Mm,
kids are eating so much. And I'm like, well, they don't have the routine and structure of going to school. So if you don't have the
mm.
routine and structure of your phone and your business and people that you talk to, whenever, it's like, well, what am I going to do with myself? I might just eat.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So, and they give you a plate and a bowl and all your utensils are, these are yours. You wash them up and you put them away and everything like that. These are yours. Anyway, and you go there and you go, oh, I'll just take a little bit of this. You know, when you go to a buffet, I'm just going to sample a little bit of everything, but a little bit of everything ends up like this massive mound of food on your plate.
Yes.
I
And
go
are you allowed
upstairs.
to journal? Like, you're allowed to write?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So this is a retreat where you are allowed, so no technology, but you can have books, you can have pens, paper, you know, if you're into like art meditation, you know, drawing and things like that.
Okay, I could survive
Anything,
actually. I've changed my
yeah,
mind. When
just
we first were starting, I was like, there's no way I could do this. Because one of my friends did like Vipassana, I'm probably pronouncing
partner.
that wrong, like a 10-day retreat, and they weren't
Yeah,
allowed like pens or
nothing.
books and I was
No.
like, I think I would literally go mad. But if I was
That
allowed
one, yeah.
books, I'd be all right.
Yeah, that one is like a strict guided program of 10 days of silence and meditation where you're literally meditating for like up to 14 hours a day. This is what I called self-prescribed silence. So,
Okay.
and meditation. So when you're there, you're not actually locked into any of their programs or any of their activities. You can come and go in the retreat space itself. Like if you want to go for a walk down the street and go to the little shop and cafe, because mind you can't have coffee. There's no coffee in this place. So if you're a coffee addict, make your choices. Either go for your, you know, caffeine detox, or you're gonna like go down
Walk
the
down to
shop.
the cafe.
Yeah, and you can do that, and you can speak down there, or you can. So you're not locked in, but it's gives you the place and space to experience silence, be without a device, meditate, stretch, rest, sleep, eat, repeat, whatever it is that you want.
And I
And
assume
that's what I loved. I loved it
um
for that.
they would have a reception or something. So say something did happen and you needed to be
Yeah.
contacted by your family, there's
Yeah.
that in place.
Yes. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. So when you go there, you fill out a form with contact details. And obviously, like because my baby's 18 months, and while I knew my husband would be completely fine looking after her, he solo parented for 11 days because that was the amount of time I was away for, 7 at the retreat, but
That's
flights on that side.
fabulous.
He did amazing.
Yes.
They loved it. They've bonded. I'm actually no longer in the picture. There's so much more data these days than mama. I'm like, okay, job's done. So I said to him, like, I know I might not speak to you. I'll type a few messages, but I do want to check in just to make sure you're okay and just to see Ava and you. And he was great. He sent me little video messages. So when I did go broke my phone out of the hand phone hotel jail.
I love how it's
Like, I
hotel. Yeah,
rescued
no, jail.
you. I rescued you. Come with me, my friend. You just walk up the driveway to the reception area, and they've got like a co-working space and areas where you can sit and use their Wi-Fi and things like that. But otherwise, there's no Wi-Fi in the actual complex. So yeah, every second day or so, I just go and just check in and just say hi and tell them how I was going. So that gave me the peace of mind. Yeah, and there was only a few times I really did need to have a conversation. One was just to get my laundry done. Another one was to find out how to do the walk around the rice fields. And then I think, and then they did I did a workshop where you learnt the Bali offering experience. So in Bali, you see a lot of people, you know, in the villages or in, you know, they've got all those little offerings with little bits of incense and the flowers and things like that. So they actually taught you the meaning behind that, and you made the baskets and put the things in. So there was a bit of conversation there, but essentially everything's by choice. It's like I said,
That is
self-education.
amazing. And I
Yeah.
just want to say, side note or segue, how amazing it is, especially for mums, to take that time or any time
Mm.
away from family. I think we should be encouraging and celebrating that, because sometimes people have so much guilt. I've done solo time, like left my husband to solo parent a number of times and just gone away. I call it my staycation. I just go into the city
Yeah.
because I live in Sydney,
Yeah.
book a hotel for 2, 3, 4 nights.
Yeah.
And what always fascinates me, or I've gone to visit my family interstate without the kids, just myself. People always often saying, if I catch up with girlfriends or family, they're like, "Aren't you going to ring Jeremy and the kids or whatever?" And I'm like, they know where I am. Like, some people, and it's not a judgment, but they go away from the kids and spend the whole time on the phone, like the entire time.
Mm.
It's like, I might as well be with them or have brought them with me.
Mm.
When I go
Mm.
away, I go away to be away. They know if there's an emergency or if I'm needed, I am there. But I
Yeah.
also don't want to be tied to them the whole time. The reason I've gone away is because I do need that recharge. So I
Yeah.
love that you were like, I'm
Absolutely.
doing this for me.
Yeah. And look, I'm not gonna lie, I had leading up to it, I had a lot of like suddenly, like first I was really excited, like, yes, I'm doing this, it's gonna be cool. Francois was all up for it. Then there was those moments of like, are you sure? Are you gonna be okay? Am I gonna be okay? Do I want to do this? Am I gonna need my phone? Like all those thoughts around how's this all gonna work out? And even to the point where I had moments where I got a little bit nervous about flying to Bali. I've only been to Bali once and not really flown or traveled around Asia before. I did lots of backpacking around Canada and the US and Europe, you know, in my early 20s. And suddenly it's like, holy crap, I'm back to being that version of Anna that did that and never had a problem of rocking up to another country and figuring shit out. And suddenly there was like, what am I going to need for the visa and this customs thing and the money and how am I going to find like the right taxi to get to the hotel, which was literally over the fence from the airport. I stayed that close to the airport because I didn't want to go too far. And the
It's
next day they came
amazing
and picked me
though.
up and went to
It's
the
like
retreat.
relearning an
But
entire skill set after you've had kids. Like
yeah,
you go from the, I don't know, the maiden into the mother archetype or whatever, and it's like this is a whole different experience. Whereas when I was younger, it didn't matter. I'm doing my first trip later in the year to the States. I've never been to America before, and I'm going with my
cool.
sister, and she's all over it. But I'm like, what visa do we need? And how do we get our phone working over there? Like, how do we do
Yeah.
global roaming? And she's like, no, you don't do that. You get an eSIM. I'm like, what's an eSIM? Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah. All the things. And suddenly like there was this myriad of like, shit, I don't know how to do this. Like, and I actually had almost like, not anxiety, but just worries, a little few worries that crept in that I probably never had felt when I did do my backpacking in my early 20s that suddenly arised here. And also that realization, like you said, that I'm doing this on my own. This is the first time in a long time that I haven't had my husband trailing behind me or now our daughter. This is me on my own. Like this time is really rare. Yeah, I was really kind of like, and people, you know, when people say, don't worry, when you get there, you do this, you go here, you get this, and you do that. And you're like, okay, I've got that in my head. But you don't know what it's like until you experience it. So you're
Yeah. And
still
sometimes it
trying to
is
wrap your
smooth
mind
like
around it.
that. And sometimes it's like, it wasn't like that at all. So my
Yeah,
question is, will you do it
yeah,
again?
100%, without a
Have
doubt.
you already
Sign me
booked it?
up. No, I honestly don't know when the next moment in time is going to allow me to do this. I would love it to be a yearly thing. I will
I
say
think that's
this, years
great.
ago, I worked in a day spa. My previous life, I was a massage therapist, and I worked in a day spa and in Melbourne, very fancy one. And the owner would every year go on a retreat wherever she went, whoever knows. And I remember one of the other therapists was like, oh, Lyndall's gone off on her retreat again, you know, to meditate and tune into the business and stuff. And I was like, that sounds freaking amazing. And she was a mum. She had kids, a husband, and they ran the business, blah, blah, blah. I was like, oh, that'd be awesome. I'd love to do that. I'm like embodying that right now. I'm an
Yeah,
entrepreneurial woman and I'm going
100%.
on my like,
And I love, and Bali's close for you. How long a flight
yeah.
is it to get there for?
Well, if Broome had a flight direct from
Oh, you
Bali,
can't
from
go
Broome to Bali,
direct.
it would literally be like an hour. But unfortunately, it's actually, hold on, okay. But at this moment in time, you have to fly to Perth, which is 2.5 hours, and then about 3 to 4 hours from Perth back up to Bali. So you do a
Oh,
bit
so
of
it's
a
not
lot
as close
of
as
that.
I was hoping. You have to do like a dog leg, but
You have to go down and then back up again. But as of for the next 3 years, there's a contract between Jetstar Asia, plug to tourism here, Broome to Singapore between June and October. Oh, I tell you
oh,
what,
that'd be fabulous.
so many Broome locals have just booked a bunch of holidays to Singapore because Singapore is the gateway to so much else in the world. And that flight, I think, is literally, someone said maybe 3 hours from Broome. Oh
Oh,
my
that's
God, what a, and
incredible.
then from there you could go to Bali and it's just going to cut the time down so much more. It just opens up, to be honest, the Kimberley and the Western Australian region to so much more because we are so isolated in all that stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
not sponsored by travel.com or whatever.
No,
But
exactly.
just
Or
before we wrap
Broome
up,
International Airport. No.
for anyone listening,
Yeah.
Even if a retreat isn't in your budget or your wheelhouse or something that you desire or whatever, if you're able to, gift yourself a couple of nights away or even a night in a hotel, even if it's in the suburb that you live in. It's funny, Mother's Day is coming up at the time that we're recording
Mm.
this. And for Mother's Day, we haven't organized this year because we literally just got back from a family trip. But most years, Jeremy and the kids, I say, what do you want? And it's like, I want to go away, like by myself. And people are like, it's Mother's Day. You should spend time with the family and all this shooting and stuff of the society.
Mm.
And I'm like, it's Mother's Day. It's what I want. So whether it's, Mother's Day or, if you can find that time or space, or the other thing I've done before is I've sent them away. So Jeremy's taken the kids somewhere and I've
Mm.
stayed home because I'm an introvert. I like being in the home. So staying
Yeah,
home by
that's
myself
awesome.
is
Yeah.
absolutely heaven. And that's what I've done this last year. I haven't been away on my own, but I've stayed here and they've gone away. And if you
Yeah.
have that space, and even if overnight isn't in your budget or ability, just a couple of hours. If your partner can take the kids to a movie or mini golf or,
Yeah.
I don't know, the park, the zoo, wherever that suits you.
Yeah,
Do
it just
nothing.
resets you. It 100%, because I mean, we could talk so much longer about this, but you lose yourself. You know, everything can become very blurred in the roles that we have as mothers, as entrepreneurs, as women, as whatever it is. You know, we do a lot, right? We do a lot. And I'm not saying that dads don't. I think dads and mums do need their equal time out, but it's true. You need it to reset and to remind yourself who you are and what you do, and just to unplug yourself, because we have so many connections that come, is almost like the Matrix. You need to unplug yourself. So you come back to yourself, have time, just even a sleep. Like, oh my God, I slept whenever I was tired on this retreat. I felt amazing afterwards, because my sleep over the last 18 months has been so broken. I slept like one day it was like day 6, and I'm like, I think I'm done with this. I know I've got one more day to do, but what the hell am I going to do today? I'm like, I'm going to go sleep. I slept all day. It was amazing. And I don't feel guilty for it.
Less
I
guilt
slept
with
all
it
day.
because you don't have a house to clean or people to, you know, so allow yourself to do what you feel called and guided to do. And I just think that's so much richness in that. So thank you so much for sharing that with us, the phone hotel / jail. I love it. So can you let the listeners know, Anna, what you do and where they can find you?
Sure. So my name's Anna. I'm a business mindset coach for entrepreneurial women, and I'm also a sound bath healer. You can find me at annahastie.com, which is ANNAHASTIE.com. Also on Facebook and Instagram, Anna F Hastie. So there's F for Freddie in between Anna and Hastie. I also have a YouTube channel, Anna F Hastie. You find me there again. Keeps everything really simple here.
I love it. And you got a podcast.
And a podcast, Alchemy Mindset with Anna Hastie. And on all those platforms, I share so much about business mindset, sound bars, meditation, subliminals, all these really cool things that can support you in your health and well-being and your mindset wherever you are in life. So please have a scroll, have a little look, little checks out. And yeah, if you want me to help you, please get in touch.
I love it. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you everyone for listening. I'll catch you on the next one. Bye for now.